Hello everybody and welcome to the CCA League Season 3 opening night. I am DRF, joined by my co-commentator today, Mizuno, and we are going to get things started off very quickly here actually with our triple header. We're going to get started with our first matchup. We're going to be heading over to Division 6, where we will be watching Cod Empire out of the State University of New York Polytechnic Institute taking on WVU, West Virginia University. Both of these teams definitely a lot of questions going to be going into this one, as both of these teams are pretty new, Mizuno.
You're exactly right, DRF. Both of these teams are completely fresh to the CCA, with Cod Empire making their debut back in our one-off event back in February, an entrance exam. WVU is completely brand new. This is their CCA debut, folks. So drum up some hype in the chat. These teams are geared up and ready to go before even we were ready to go. So with that being said, let's kick it off with the CCA Season 3 triple header, Week 1. God, I'm so excited, DRF.
Well, let's do it. First up, we have Splat Zones on Hagglefish Market. Let's take a look at what these teams are bringing out for us. We have Cod Empire in the turquoise, West Virginia in the pink. Mizuno, taking a look at these comps, what are you noticing?
I love the E-Leader pick from Cod Empire. Very safe pick onto Canopy there. Meanwhile, we see WVU with a much more safer paint-heavy comp, but we do see that new charger that's been introduced in the most recent patch. So very exciting stuff. And with that being said, WV is an up 4-2 and a great start as they take the zone early on.
Oh, certainly. I mean, they're doing a great job right off the bat, getting a couple of nice picks there, working around this brand new light pole that has been introduced to this map, navigating that very well here. But take a look at this Tri-Slosher trying to set up a little bit of a flank here, but it's going to get shut down by that ZNF splatter scope. And this is so far has all been West Virginia in complete control for this opening minute. Oh, a beautiful snipe there as well. Woo! My goodness.
WVU has some great positioning right now. I mean, they have a great opportunity to take advantage of the zone and move forward. They haven't breached much further past the pole right smack in the middle of the zone here, but it's been remaining fruitful in their efforts, as with 15 points left on the clock with 3 members down for Cod Empire, WVU is sitting very pretty.
Yeah, they certainly are, with the 3 down, making a wipeout to cap things off. West Virginia is going to take game number 1 in convincing fashion. I mean, Hagglefish Market Splat Zones is just one of those map modes where things can just snowball very quickly. I think it definitely can be a bit of a rough first game to get things started. I feel like that the introduction of the poll didn't really help anything either in that regard. But yeah, like I said, it's definitely a little bit of a rough one to get going on. So we'll have to see if Cod Empire can kind of come back here, pick themselves up a little bit as we get geared up for game number 2 pretty quickly.
Right. I think with game number 1, it's very difficult, like you said, to get acclimated. It's just a very stally type of map, and things can just tumble so quickly. But on the flip side now, heading into game 2, TC Sturgeon, that is such an incredibly safe map mode combo for pretty much the entire Splatoon community. I think it's probably one of the top map mode combos out there right now. I think both of these teams can feel pretty comfortable going into this one and ready to make some adjustments and kind of shake off game 1 in the case of Cod Empire. No sweat off the back, game 1. Let's just recover and move on to game 2.
Certainly. And game number 2 will be tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard. And another one of those that can snowball. So Cod Empire, I think, is definitely going to have to come out here a bit strong. They're going to really need to take care of themselves, not go down so quickly, because they kind of learned the hard way there that if they just peek out just a little bit, West Virginia seems pretty ready to shut things down in a hurry.
Agreed. And I think the key play here is going to be taking care, basically making sure that what Cod Empire's Charger player is staying safe. I think being able to utilize that Charger player and their E-liter range in this map effectively will be a huge benefit to them taking the tower all the way through, getting some major points at the board.
Yeah, and take a look at this though. It's Cod Empire that's actually the first ones ready up here. West Virginia is the one that's taken a moment to step back, reevaluate the composition that they're going to be running. So they definitely, I think, are feeling good about that win, but they need to make sure that they get this right throughout. I definitely think that if that ZNF splatter scope is going to stick around, I think that would, be a great option. But taking a look here, actually bringing up the comps. Okay, yeah, it is going to stick around. That splash wall is just so effective. I really feel like this is going to shake things up for all the Chargers in the community. And we're seeing it make an impact here early on in this set.
Agreed. And speaking of Chargers, we actually see P-Clip rotating back to the vanilla Charger with the scope instead of the E-liter here. Interesting pick there. Hopefully it'll play off. We have some great assists by this blaster player on the side of Cod Empire, it looks like. No, excuse me, of WVU. They're putting on a lot of pressure and getting a great first pick on that Charger player. They're sitting in a very comfortable spot where they're able to utilize that rapid range and also pop that vacuum, setting up the stage for WVU to move forward.
Certainly, and that is already the first checkpoint cleared, and nobody from Cod Empire is in range to shut this one down. There is going to be a little bit of a trade here that's going to slow things down just a little bit, which so far Cod Empire has definitely struggled on the defensive end. So to see them get that stop there, even just for a moment, that is going to, I think, help their confidence just a little bit, but going 3 down certainly won't, as that is a fantastic shutdown, making a delayed wipe, and very quickly it's West Virginia back on the tower, pushing beyond that first checkpoint.
I think Cod Empire's positioning is starting to take a toll on them. With that Charger player being the last one left, they still stuck around to try to put pressure on the tower. Some decision-making skills that needs to be in development there, because it's very difficult to be the last player standing and wanting to, stop the tower in any which way possible. But you lost so much momentum in that moment. So hopefully, Cod Empire will think twice if they're down in that situation again.
Certainly, the Blaster doing a great job just trying to poke here, but unfortunately, I think just did not have the range compared to that rapid throw here. And now, however, though, it does seem like it's going to be Cod Empire that gets control of this tower. They're going to push to this first checkpoint. Nobody near this tower. So this is going to be the first checkpoint falling uncontested. Cod Empire seemingly out of nowhere getting a fantastic push off here all the way down to 45. This is a 7-point game. They're going to try to close this a little bit more, possibly force the lead. There it goes. My goodness, Cod Empire showing up here in the middle of game number 2. Fantastic push, but that is going to be the delayed wipe, and the push will end at 32 remaining.
The caveat there was P-Clip's vacuum. It created a lot of space and even forced WVU's rapid player to jump right out there, and causing, again, misposition. Everyone was staggered, respawning in, coming in from the opposite side of the map. And Cod Empire, they were just go, go, go. Oh, but now here's an interesting turn of events. WVU now has flipped the script, and they wiped out Cod Empire. This is their moment to strike back.
Yeah, and they're going to get a really good shot at it here with a slight numbers advantage plus the bubble, but that's not going to be on the tower, though. It will be enough to get the lead all the way down to 29 remaining, plus some. They're going to be able to actually clear the second checkpoint. So now we've approached my favorite area, the oh no zone, where things really start to fall apart if you're on the defensive end. But it looks like Cod Empire might have been able to get away with this one for now, just pushing back the members of West Virginia ever so slightly, just enough to make them hesitate a little bit and buy themselves some time to establish a little bit of paint in the path of that tower. And that's going to actually help them get a couple picks as well. The Blaster and Spartan trying to make a move here, but that is a lot of purple paint, so they're going to have to just be very careful here. West Virginia not taking any chances as they back all the way up into their part of the map.
I really like this rotation choice by WVU, recognizing the pressure that Cod Empire is exerting. Cod Empire, on the other hand, they've done a good job to try to take back what they've lost, but at what cost? With some mispositioning there and WVU's recovery, they were able to get the wipe out. And God, that's just another hit for Cod Empire that they do not want to see right now, as we only have 30 seconds left on the clock here.
Yeah, and time is just not on their side, especially Tower Control Sturgeon Shipyard. It can feel like a whole marathon that you have to take this tower through when you pick up the tower on your half of the map this late into the game. And oh my goodness, Dr. Doc with constantly getting picks here time and time again. 15 seconds to go. This one might just be out of reach for Cod Empire, as West Virginia beautifully positioned here to just close this one out. But it looks like there will be one more opportunity for Cod Empire, but the triple ink strike all on the tower is going to make this very difficult. It's going to pick off the Blaster. The machine will go down and make it the wipeout, and that will do it. That is the game. West Virginia takes game 2.
Fantastic gameplay from P-Clip from WVU. I mean, my goodness, they were able to recognize every little exposed hole that Cod Empire exposed themselves to. However, that's not to say Cod Empire did not put on a game there. WVU should have been quaking in their boots if they didn't have that second giant push in the last minute or so of that match. Cod Empire, they have the tools, they have the utility, and they have a really decent comp to work with. It's something that is capable of making good runs. It's just the little details, the finer points that need to be tuned, such as the positioning and recognizing when too far is just a little too far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that was just such a better game though from Cod Empire. I mean, it seemed like even in that first half there, that West Virginia was just going to steamroll it, just like game number 1. But they got a fantastic stop there, turned defense into offense, managed to get a lot of that mid control back about halfway into the game, and got the lead there. I mean, so Cod Empire, I think they're just a little bit slow on the uptake to kind of just get themselves situated and comfortable, but they're there now. I mean, I feel like should be a relatively competitive set moving forward. And West Virginia now has to kind of, take a step back, reevaluate just a little bit, because suddenly you're realizing, oh, okay, maybe this won't be as easy as we thought it was going to be. Because Cod Empire is certainly not out of it yet, although they're now facing a little bit of a tough hole to dig themselves out of. They can only give up one more game without giving up the entire set.
I absolutely agree. I think it's still very valuable for WPU to stay on their toes, to kind of still be wary of the set and the situation around them. Again, with all these new changes that this game is making, something could completely pop up and surprise. Like, for example, this next map, Rainmaker Hammerhead Bridge. Oh boy, this one is going to be a doozy to prepare for and a doozy to go through for both of these teams.
Yep, in true CCA fashion, we don't like to discount many map modes. And Rainmaker Hammerhead, I think, is certainly one of those that doesn't get played a whole lot in the competitive community. But I think there's certainly still some value to it. I think it certainly makes for some very exciting games. That first checkpoint, definitely a little bit awkwardly placed, where it almost seems like it's a free given checkpoint. It doesn't take a whole lot to break through it. The real battle begins after you break through the first checkpoint and how far you can, work your way up into the plat. That's where this game will be decided. It's, the sooner you can break that checkpoint though, the more opportunities you will give yourself to tack on those points and establish a lead big enough that the opponent won't overcome.
That's a great observation, DRF. taking a look at these comps now, I'm seeing a few changes on the side of Wet Cod Empire. I see a Hydra coming out from Magna, and it looks like P-Clip was previously playing Charger, and now they've rotated to Splash. That's a quite a 180 there, P-Clip. I love to see it.
Certainly, I mean, very diverse weapon pool, deep rosters on both ends, as both of these teams have been making consistent substitutions throughout this set so far, and it certainly really makes this that much more of a chess match between these two, as you can't really anticipate what the opponent is going to be doing throughout most of this set here, and we're going to see a bloodbath in mid as well, as 5 members of the 8 that are in this lobby right now do go down, and Nala's going to find a pretty easy double there, trying to make it a triple, but no, the machine will shut that one down. They're the last one standing, so they're the only ones that's going to be able to hold this Rainmaker back, as the members of West Virginia all kind of push up there to try to, get the couple more picks, make sure that this checkpoint is free and easy, but I think that checkpoint came a little bit more tough for them than they thought.
Agreed. This Kraken gameplay is incredibly distracting for Wet Cod Empire. All of the members having to scramble to react to the Kraken as it's basically coming at them for blood, essentially. This is a very sticky situation now for Wet Cod Empire, as WVU now has the Rainmaker and looking to gain a few more points on the board.
Certainly. And they are able to get at least up onto the plat, but they're so far to the right now that they're not adding many points there. We go, finally getting all the way down to 38, but this triple ink strike can make it very difficult, somehow living through it and progressing even further. Finally, it's the machine. Glick has been doing such a great job on the defensive end here, coming up with clutch stop after stop. This certainly could be over now if it wasn't for them right now. And, a couple of great stops there so far, but now comes the hard part where you've let 76 points slip in 2 minutes. Now you have 3 minutes to try to figure out how you're going to make this comeback here, and I think it's really going to all start with this machine player right here.
Agreed. Glick's gameplay has been going incredibly well for Wet Cod Empire. Kill after kill, time and time. Clutch factor player right here, putting a lot of pressure. Getting the kill on the knot was huge. This is the moment to strike for Wet Cod Empire, and they're going to need Glick here to come through incredibly hard.
Oh, but I don't like that Glick was the one that grabbed this Rainmaker. I think that's gonna remove a lot of that killing power that they had going for them, that got them to this position. And now with a couple of specials online as well, it's going to be a little bit difficult to progress forward, as this Rainmaker is the one that's leading the charge, ultimately going to get shut down. But a fantastic job leading the way, get their team in that position first. Now they need to just rely on their teammates to hopefully maintain some of this paint pressure. And as they try to jump back in, build some of these specials up once more, and hopefully keep that Rainmaker in the position, but it doesn't seem like they're going to have a chance to reach it.
Agreed. I think the key play here is utilizing, both the Splash and the machine gameplay together. I haven't seen a lot of synergy between those two for Wet Cod Empire, and I think that'll be incredibly valuable for both of them. Oh, but Glick getting 2 great kills there with the Booyah Bomb, and trying to put some more pressure on this Hydra here is huge. But this Kraken Royale is put on too much pressure, and Glick is down. So this may stall Wet Cod Empire's push a little bit further.
Yeah, it's going to make this definitely a bit difficult, but they do have the slight numbers advantage to work with, although this Rainmaker definitely a little bit far back. Should definitely start pushing up a little bit to support their teammates, but no, now they're the last one standing, so they have no choice but to just back up a little bit, try to maintain some life, put the Rainmaker in an advantageous position for your team to come back and try to maintain some of that control. With the delayed wipe, though, that's going to be very difficult, as now the entire West Virginia team is pushed up, and this center is completely orange.
Absolutely, and I think the key thing here is WVU's paint control, paint coverage, and momentum with their positioning. These guys know how to move forward when the time is right, and that's why you're going to see so much orange on the field. Now, with 30 seconds left, Wet Cod Empire is once again in a very sticky situation. We have a 2v2 situation, and Glick goes down here to this Gal player. That is not the kill that you want to see right now. So with Spartan left right by the Rainmaker, Wet Cod Empire only has 1, maybe 2 more tries at getting this Rainmaker up to the plat area.
Yeah, make it 1 with 10 seconds to go. It's going to be very difficult to try and lose this Rainmaker and pick it up once again. So this is it. This is their push, and it's going to go down. A great stop there by, I'm assuming, what was Splat Cat on the Nautilus. A huge double there to finish things off. West Virginia going up 3 games to none.
I mean, wow. I mean, West Virginia, hats off to you. They've been playing incredibly well together and really strong synergy, which is making for a great showing here for their CCA debut. Now they're up on the set, their first set, up 3-0. And man, they must feel pretty comfortable right now, all things considered.
Certainly. I mean, a great job there. I mean, for your CCA debut to be in this position, you definitely have to be feeling really good right now, especially looking towards what our final map mode will be, or possibly final map mode. My apologies. It's Clamblitz on Scorch Gorge, and I really like West Virginia's prospects on this map mode. They've been very aggressive, and you really have to maintain that aggression if you're going to have these long sustained pushes, because it's certainly very tricky to get up to the basket in the first place. But the key is going to be how many people can you get up there when the push gets started, and how much paint can you get up there to keep it sustained, so you can get multiple power clams in and possibly drive 40-50 point pushes at a time.
I keep saying the word sustainability in Clamblitz, but it's so true, and I'm so glad you are also picking up on it, because that sustainability allows you to get more points more efficiently on the board when it comes to Clamblitz. And taking advantage of that one opportunity when the clam basket is open is absolutely key here. And in terms of which team is going to be able to have that sustainability, I mean, the execution that WVU has exerted right now has just been incredible, and I can certainly see them sustain here. Cod Empire, again, with these past 3 games, I'm a little bit worried about how they're going to play the sustainability game here in this match.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Cod Empire, I think, you know, as we keep saying, I think they're just right on the cusp of something here. I just really want to see them have that major breakthrough. And be able to, you know, pick up a huge wipeout, or be able to get a really big push going like we saw in that tower control game. I think they will have that opportunity here with Clamblitz Scorch Gorge, but it's going to be very, very tricky. You have to be very well coordinated with the rest of your team. You know, it would even be cool if they managed to get one of their teammates to set up a flank that they could jump into instead. But you just have to be very careful, because West Virginia has been so good about just being fast and you know, keeping you on your toes and constantly on the back foot, really. So I would love to see them kind of just change it up a little bit, you know, play maybe a little bit faster. Also, I think there was actually a slight error on the teams taking a look here. So they'll probably have to get that changed. Probably go into the game and reset it.
Oopsie doopsies. Oh, I think they saw it now just happen. I mean, hey, listen, the stress of the game. Sometimes your finger just slips and you hit the A button just a tad too quickly. So bear with us, folks. We'll have to restart this one since we have a little bit of a player confusion here.
Yeah, so I guess a little bit of you know, insider info. Take a look at what the other one of the other team is gonna bring out weapon-wise. This isn't Shmeeb's party wheel, right?
Oh no, I would hope not. God forbid. As a former party wheel champion myself, I do not want to enter the ring again. With peace and love, Shmeeb.
Oh man. Maybe one day we'll bring a CCA version of that here, but no, there's too much at stake in this season to be able to do something like that. So let's go ahead and get these teams right, and we will get things going once again.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
I love it. Sometimes when those little goofs happen, I just kind of remind myself, huh, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it happens from time to time, you know, tired college students especially. Just you're moving a little bit too fast. Brain, your hands move a little bit faster than your brain does, especially for I'm sure a lot of these schools are in the middle of midterm season. So we could cut a little bit of slack.
Right, and thankfully these teams aren't playing too late either. Both of these teams, again, from the state of New York Polytechnic for Cod Empire and West Virginia University, West Virginia. Both of these teams are thankfully on the East Coast here, so hopefully not too late for these poor college gamers.
Absolutely. So, speaking of, this season we have a very strong East Coast presence. I think New York alone has probably, I would say, maybe 10 to 15% of the teams in this league.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget Pennsylvania. Doesn't Pennsylvania have like a circle of like 3 or 4 universities within like a 50-mile radius of each other or something crazy like that? It's insane.
Yeah, that whole tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania has a lot going on. Although I think New Jersey really comes down to one team. But alas, teams have figured out where they're going here. So let's get game number 4 underway. Clam Blitz on Scorch Gorge, Mizuno. Taking a look at these comps, what do you notice?
Cod Empire in the pink. I'm seeing Poofy now coming in with the Octobrush. We still see Gik on that sloshing machine. Cod Empire really going to need to rely on Gik here. And WVU running very similar comps, but no hard backline here. The only notable anchor role we're seeing is that 96 Gal. But Cod Empire's in a really strong position right now, able to get 2 members of WVU down and away from mid, which is a huge start. And with Gik being on top of that tower here, Cod Empire, they look ready to go right now as they head into the basket.
Yeah, they're going to get the first score of the game. They have not had a push like this all set long. So fantastic to see them finally get that opening push off. However, this will be a one-and-done push. Magna on the Hydra doing a fantastic job trying to slow things down as their teammates respawn. But West Virginia very quick to take back complete control of mid and start putting down some splash walls. A beautiful pick there by the 96. And this should be an opportunity for them. If they could just pass the clams around, get them to the right people, they're going to be very quick to respond with a push of their own.
Right, but let's give it for Cod Empire here. Even with these staggered respawns, they've still been able to hold off WVU. But this is WVU's moment to strike here as the Kraken pops off. Gets 2 fantastic picks and making a wide open, almost wiping out the entirety of Cod Empire. Make that a wipeout, folks. Here comes WVU.
Yeah, a great use of the Kraken there to get the crucial double that really opened things up. And that is going to be this push is still going. My goodness, Black Hat was able to jump on in with that power clam, making it all the way down to 39 points remaining. So WVU did not get the opening push this time like they had in the previous games, but they said, hey, no sweat, we're gonna respond even more forcefully than we have before. And that is a huge push to get things going in the opening half of this game.
Hey, Cod Empire is still in this. With that opening push, that had tons of potential. And with getting that first pick there with Gik, with that booyah, and oh my god, I think I see Poofy there right by the plot area. That's 2 kills. This is a really good position here. Oh, but with the splat bomb, I think the splat bomb just played spoiler maker here as it's just Poofy left on that Octobrush.
Yeah, and they're not going to be able to get there in time. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Cod Empire. They're in such a fantastic position there, but ultimately West Virginia once again with a great defensive stop where they needed it most. So Cod Empire back to square one here, but certainly not out of it yet. We've seen them really start to figure out this team slowly, and I think they certainly do have another push or 2 in them at this point. It's just, they really need to be persistent here and just continue to make really good, smart plays.
Agreed. I think Cod Empire, they have the tools. They had multiple great opportunities. You see right now this Hydra sitting in a really nice spot for Cod Empire. Here comes the booyah. This is a moment. This is a good moment for Cod Empire right now. They need to move now, DRF.
Yes, a great double booyah there, but it's not going to find any picks, unfortunately. So Cod Empire once again finding themselves in this position where they have a power clamp and the numbers to make a move, but just did not piece it together quite right. And they're going to fall short with another wipeout underneath the opponent's basket. And now West Virginia once again building up their own power clamp, ready to build on the lead that they currently possess with 1 minute to go, making it very difficult for Cod Empire to have to come back, tossing the power clamp a little bit in front of them, plus a couple of specials online as well. That's going to really open things up, and this is going to be a huge opening of this lead with 45 seconds to play.
Oh, but there's the wipeout on Cod Empire. This is even more dangerous as more clamps continue to flood in. That was not the moment that you need here with the final 30 seconds here. With only a handful of clams left, oh, the basket is just going to close here on WVU's opportunity to see this. With only a few here, Cod Empire has one opportunity left to stay alive in this set.
Certainly 15 seconds to go. They're kind of starting to run out of time here. They need a couple of crucial picks, able to pick one off but lose one of their own. The Hydra gonna find another beautiful pick there as well. Booyah Bomb coming out, gonna try to clear up that ramp to give themselves an opportunity to push. And there is another pick. The Hydra's on a roll here, but their front line is gonna go down, and the Hydra can't push up if that front line doesn't exist. And it looks like this will be the exact same way that Cod Empire goes down on another push. And wow, West Virginia will sweep the set.
West Virginia University with more balls here in this set.
It seems like we might be losing Mizuno right now. I know that they are currently in the middle of a storm, so so bear with us, folks, as we try to get Mizuno back online. But yeah, a wonderful set there indeed. I mean, West Virginia coming out, you know, not really having any sort of CCA experience here, finding their way into Division 6, but certainly showing that, you know, early on, maybe we might have slightly misseeded them. You know, a fantastic first round showing. But Cod Empire, I mean, they certainly never were out of it. I think that first game, you know, was just them trying to get their feet a little bit wet, figure out exactly, you know, how to end up playing these sets. You know, because playing in a league is is a very different experience. You know, leagues and tournaments both have some very similar feels to them, but a league does so much level of preparation, the anxiety of the day is coming where we have to play this set, and every week the stakes just continue to mount, especially if this is your first time as well, plus being on stream. You know, I certainly think Cod Empire and West Virginia both gain a lot of, you know, learning opportunities here. So very excited to see more from them, and more from them we shall see right now, actually, as I believe these teams seemingly have agreed to partake in CCA tradition to go ahead and play out all 7 games.
Ref, can you hear me?
Yes, we have you back, Mizuno.
Yay! I don't know what happened there, but I caught all of it, so thankfully. Anyways, like you said, DRF, these teams, I think they've seemed to, I believe that's the next map in this set, if you were to go on to Game 5, Splat Zone's Brinewater Springs. So these folks have, again, agreed to carry on the CCA tradition that we've kind of settled here since, I think the origins even go back to our first season, if I recall correctly. Just, I think it was with Penn State specifically, just agreeing to say, hey, it was a great set. Let's keep playing. I mean, we have more games to play. We got the time. Might as well.
Exactly. And I mean, you set aside an hour or so out of your busy college schedules to be able to play your opponent. And sometimes it's a little bit, I guess for lack of a better term, unfortunate when, you know, the set does go very quickly in 4-0 fashion. And it's kind of like, well, you know, we're all here. Like, let's just play out the rest of the set. You know, it's only 3 more games. There's still a lot of learning opportunities here. You know, maybe this could be a possibility for us to transition to be scrim partners type thing. And it's also just a great display of sportsmanship. It's always fun to just be able to all play the game that we love so much.
Love and hate.
True. It's a love-hate relationship.
A big love-hate relationship. But yes, I think this tradition it has spawned from a great place of just, again, sportsmanship and just, love for the community and just for the sake of just, I hate to sound like one of those like NFL football like commentators, but like, it's for the name of the game type of thing. Like just, it's again, the love-hate for the game and to keep going, and low stakes learning opportunity here, I think, is all the more reason to play out the set regardless of the outcome.
Certainly. Yeah. And I just love it so much, especially since the sets are shorter, just to accommodate the university style of, hey, everyone's kind of busy. It could be difficult just to schedule an hour in the first place. So, as we're Ludi, everything is a best of 9. We kind of cut it down a little bit to best of 7. We don't think that it's going to take 9 games necessarily to have to decide things for the regular season. We will see those best of 9s come through in the playoffs. But for now, best of 7 suffices. And like I said, what's 3 more games?
Right. Anyways, 3 more games ahead of us. We're heading into Splat Zones, Brine Water, whatever this map is called. Honestly, it's still so brand new to me. I can't even remember what it's called half the time. Taking a look at these comps here, we see Magna back on the Hydra, Gick on the good old sloshing machine. We see the Z and F Charger back for Dr. Doc. And we see Splatcat rotating back over to the Rapid. So very solid comps overall, considering how long of a map this can be.
Certainly, and I'm kind of surprised that there are no E-leaders to be seen. I mean, this is just an E-leader heaven of a map, as the E-leader really just reaches all the way across from snipe to snipe. But that's just not in either of these teams' weapon pools, as both backlines will exchange blows here. And this will be West Virginia in control of the zone, slowly chipping away at that scoreboard.
Right, in that opening quote-unquote push there, though, Cod Empire did seem to take initiative, so they're not afraid to go fast and go quickly. I think it's just, again, just a tough wipe out there. Just suffering from various mistakes relating to positioning and timing of when they're coming back into the match, when they're coming back into the objective.
Oh, and I love the use of the super chump. Is that what is the call out for this anyways? Like, I think
it's super chumps, and people have been calling them chumps. I like to call them friends sometimes. Because they kind of pop out, like they're like, oh, surprise, hello. It's like, oh, hey, my friends are dropping in.
Oh man, yeah, I'm still trying to kind of figure out a lot of the new weapons and new comps as well. I mean, with the super chumps, I feel like, yeah, just trying to get to chumps is fine. But super chump just sounds too similar to super jump. So at least I personally think that my team will probably steer away from that. We're probably gonna refer to them as either like dummies or decoys, something along those lines.
Oh, interesting take. Oh, I disagree, but you know what? I'll go for it, King. I guess. Sure.
Okay, wait, but see, because my team had this discussion yesterday as we get geared up for game number 6 following that West Virginia knockout in a friendly game 5. But the Kraken, at least I'm assuming that 90% of teams out there will refer to the Kraken Royale as probably simply Kraken in their callouts. I'm assuming that that's probably where Sub Power might be gravitating towards as well, correct?
See, I didn't even know it was called Kraken Royale until like yesterday. I literally discovered it from like an offhand tweet. I'm like, what do you mean Royale? What are you talking about?
It's the Battle Royale we've never asked for.
This kind person explained to me what they were trying, like, oh, dummy, this is the special name. Like, it's called the Kraken Royale. I genuinely didn't believe them. I thought they were talking out of their butt for a second there. So, I mean, yeah, why call it Kraken Royale? It's just the Kraken.
Okay, but see, here's the issue. So, for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, as you know, one of our teammates is named Kraken Mayor.
Oh.
So there is a slight issue where we call out Kraken, but we have to be careful because obviously we have a teammate named Kraken and there's a special named Kraken. So we've actually resorted, Kraken and Vapor were calling this out initially, and I think we've all agreed that this is gonna 100% be the way that we go. We're just calling it Forehead. Because the Octoling Kraken is literally just a giant forehead.
A giant forehead.
So literally we're just like, hey, watch the forehead. Like, forehead on the right. So I think that's gonna be our call out because we're in this weird, unique position where the call outs actually overlap with our teammate.
I can get behind that. I can totally get behind that because that is incredibly funny, and it is literally the perfect call out. I cannot think of another one. Honestly, that's the winner. I could see why you chose that.
Yeah, like my teammates literally just dropped it casually to me when we were playing open. I just cracked up the rest of the game. But I guess that's what it's gonna stick with as we head here into game number 6. This will be tower control on Flounder Heights. A lot of change in comps actually here for both of these teams. Most notably that Luna Blaster coming out from Splatcat.
I was gonna point that out too. Plus, Dr. Doc actually no longer on a charger, actually opting for a heavy splat lane. This map is so incredibly saucy, and I still don't know what to make of it because of how tall it is, and just like the various opportunities of where anyone can literally pop out and go surprise, like Splatcat for example.
Oh, certainly. I mean, a lot of great sharking opportunities. I think buckets do particularly well here, so I love that the machine got brought out here by Cod Empire. But so far it is West Virginia that is taking the reins here of this tower, able to push this forward through that first checkpoint, approaching now that second checkpoint actually, and staying relatively uncontested. It seems like Cod Empire able to just poke a little bit, flank coming here as well, but the bubble going to offer a lot of great protection here, and this tower keeps chugging along.
Right, I mean, Cod Empire is kind of in an awkward spot here where it looks like they're sending in like one person at a time, and then just they're not able to capitalize on that one person creating just enough disruption. Thankfully now that momentum has finally shifted, thankfully before that second checkpoint. So now it's Cod Empire's turn to hopefully put some points on the board as we see that Zipcaster pop out on the side of Cod Empire.
Oh, I thought that blaster got the direct on Splatcat there, but it seems not, as that is once again a nice bloodbath there. 2 members stay up from West Virginia, and they're going to be the ones that push this tower along. A little bit of, sharking on the wall there. That's just not going to be a great position to do that for Cod Empire. But this blaster actually going to be in a good position to do so now, as they're looking to get a little bit of chip damage there, not able to find a pick. But there is enough pressure on that tower to make things a little bit difficult for West Virginia to keep this push going.
Right, that blaster player on the side of Cod Empire is putting on just enough pressure for members like Poofy to pop up and surprise them and get some great kills. There goes Poofy right on this rooftop here, honing in on the members of WVU. Poofy putting on a really good show here, getting multiple good picks here and pivoting off of this tower fairly well. Great opportunities and great splats from Poofy.
Oh, I don't know how Splatcat got very fortunate there with that Booyah Bomb. Able to live through it, help secure the wipeout as well. And now this tower will once again be pushed by West Virginia, slowly inching forward. They've already claimed 2 checkpoints, hoping to get a third to further this lead, but the Hydra is going to make it a little bit difficult there, and a pretty interesting position there, actually. You typically don't see Hydras playing that wall with the tower so close, but it is going to create just enough distraction to help their teammates get the 3 picks that they need to stop this tower in its path.
Exactly. Great special uses on the side of WVU. But again, credits to Gick and Poofy working together here on this left side to get the members of WVU off of that tower. And with Poofy kind of utilizing the various walls leading up to the top of the map, I mean, they've been playing fairly well here and capitalizing in kind of the, map's various avenues to approach the objective.
Yeah, and I really think that West Virginia's strength here is, as you're saying, they're doing a great job of kind of playing together at certain times. I would love to see that unity more consistent, but they're also doing a great job of playing various key positions well. I just think that so far, Cod Empire has really won the 1v1s.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, but with only 1 minute left, though, this game has gone on pretty well for WVU, finding multiple opportunities to break through these checkpoints. But Cod Empire has yet to even finish through the first checkpoint and get past this bridge area. And with a 2-down situation here, this Booyah not putting on a lot of pressure since no one is able to capitalize it. Cod Empire is just finding just the off moments here to take advantage of rather than the right moments.
Yeah, and once again, I think losing a couple of crucial 1v1s here is Cod Empire. And with just a little bit of time left on the clock, they're going to have to make a move for this tower. Magna, the backline's going to have to go ahead and push forward, which is definitely not the way that you ultimately want to have to play this. But for a desperate attempt to grab this tower, that's what they're going to have to do. One last chance to get their foot on the tower. They will get their opportunity, but it won't last long as West Virginia secures game number 6.
And West Virginia, they know the right opportunities to strike, the right opportunities to back off and be a little bit more wary when the situation isn't going quite their way. They were able to really capitalize off of this map really well with their comp as well. A really good showing from WVU in this match, in this Friendlies Game 6 match here.
Certainly, it's West Virginia is continuing to display their dominance here. I definitely think if you're anyone in Division 6 Group B, you're kind of looking at this match and you're like, yeah, not looking forward to that matchup whenever we get to it down the road. Because they are putting on a great display here, and I think definitely making statement after statement, even as we are in this friendly play all 7 stage of this set. Heading into our final game, Rainmaker Undertow Spillway. But yeah, West Virginia, they're ready. They're ready to make a run here in the CCA League.
I love to see it, especially for their first time together as a team and coming in here ready to go. No experience as players have been together, and just coming in here and putting on a show. It's incredibly exciting to see. Now, with game number 7 here. I played this recently in a scrim, and we commentated on this specific map mode together fairly recently. Or I think we did we? No, we did.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Was that the Div 8?
No,
finals?
It was the Div 2. No, it was Div 2 with Cherry Limeade against. It wasn't 2v2.
Oh no, Div 1. Oh yes, it was Div 1. Lily with the flank.
Oh my god.
Grabbing that Rainmaker somehow, some way, and dancing their way through all of the triple ink strikes. I know exactly the set and game that you were talking about. I believe that was game 1 as well.
It was, yeah. My point that I was going with that is, I'm curious how sneaky some of these players can be with the Rainmaker. I'm very curious how they're going to use their Rainmaker prowess in this match, because in the previous Rainmaker match that we saw with Hammerhead, it's kind of hard to be sneaky. There's no split avenues. There's just kind of one way to go. But with Undertow, there's technically like 3 or 4 ways you can take the Rainmaker after you make that first checkpoint. So I'm very curious how sneaky, how clever and conniving some of these teams and players could be.
Oh man, yeah, I always love a good shark on Rainmaker. I think that those produce some of the best, most exciting plays that we can see in Splatoon. So I would definitely love to see if either of these are fans of Cherry Limeade and try to pull a play out of their book here.
Agreed. Now taking a look at these comps, we see Gick actually rotate back over to the Splash. Poopy, Spartan, Magna still staying stagnant here. We see someone on WVU, I didn't quite catch it. It looks like Stormy now back in rotation with the Stamper. I love that weapon here. It is so gnarly as someone who faces it all the freaking time.
And also the Splattershot Nova making its possibly CCA debut. I don't know if anyone's ever actually played this on Stream Press yet.
Oh, right. You know what? Possibly. Interesting.
Well, very quickly though, it's actually Cod Empire that gets first crack at this Rainmaker, and they've pushed all the way to the checkpoint and some, as this Rush is now pushing up very fast to try to open things up for the Rainmaker, but the rest of their team will go down, so this might just be the end of the push, although they're able to find a couple of extra picks on top of that. So a great opening push here by Cod Empire. I mean, we've seen West Virginia respond multiple times before, so they will have their opportunity to do so here, but getting that first checkpoint in the first minute, that is absolutely huge for Cod.
I absolutely agree. But if I were Cod, I'd be very careful here because, I mean, as history has told before, after getting a really strong, decent, good first push, they kind of let their defenses fall apart and kind of crack a bit. As you can see here, WVU is able to break through this checkpoint with absolute no pressure whatsoever.
Yeah, and oh, take a look at this though. It's the dually Squelchers that actually might be slowing this down to protect this lead. But finally, very patient play there by Splatcat. And that's going to really open things up. And here is actually the possibility for the knockout, and they will get it. WVU sweeping all 7 games. Wow, I mean, that was a fantastic display of patience there. You know, very different approaches by both teams. Cod saw an opportunity. They tried to play fast and aggressive, similar to what we had seen from WVU in a lot of those other games. But WVU said, hey, you know, change up the comp a little bit. We need to play just a little bit slower, and they did just that. Wonderful job by WVU. And that's going to actually be all 7 games there for you.
Man, that was a fun set. Kudos to both of these teams for stepping up to the plate and being the first streamed match in Season 3 of the CCA League. This was a fantastic showing from both of these teams. I love seeing the different comps that Cod Empire brought to the table, and they had some really clever, unique pushes going on for them. And I can only see the growth from here as they learn to take away some key points from this game. And of course, I mean, WVU, I mean, exemplary showing here. I mean, my goodness, they are looking like a very big potential looming threat for Group B Div 6.
Absolutely. I mean, Cod Empire, we saw the growth just within that set as well. They did a fantastic job of just making a lot of little adjustments, you know, getting much better pushes off in those later games. But I mean, West Virginia, I think they just came into this with a lot already figured out. So it was just a little bit too much to overcome. West Virginia certainly seemingly has a little more experience than what we were led on to believe, possibly, because they're clicking like they're a veteran team.
Agreed. I could not agree more. I mean, I think some of that could be comp experience. Just knowing the little information that we got from these teams, there were a couple players that have some tournament experience. Again, that doesn't define how good you are coming into the CCA, where collegiate teams are like a totally different ball game from most other Splatoon teams in this community. So, like, again, West Virginia University playing incredibly strong in this div to show off in this first set of the week. I'm thoroughly impressed, and I'm excited to see how both of these teams continue to play as they head over to their next matchup in week 2.
Certainly. Well, that is it for our opening match here tonight in the CCA League Season 3 season opener. We still got a couple more matches up ahead. Going to be a little bit until our next match. So I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take a brief break, and we will come back to you in just a few moments with a little bit of an intermission before our second match of the night. Stay tuned.